everyone, I'm Ina Sakdalan, the founder of Secure Visa Consultancy, and welcome to our office here in New Zealand. Let me guess, I know why you're here. Is it because you want to live in one of the least corrupt countries in the world, where you can enjoy free healthcare and accessible free quality education for your children from age 5 to 18? Well, imagine the money you will save from all of those benefits. Or maybe because you want a work life balance. Live in a country where you can enjoy going to work without hassle and stress. And you want to say goodbye to heavy traffic and enjoy more time for yourself and your family. Or maybe you want to live in a safe and clean environment and remove your worries about walking in the streets alone, and your kids can safely walk to school unharmed. If I'm right and you want to experience these benefits, then this video is for you. These are just some of the benefits that you and your family can experience and enjoy, especially if you hold a permanent resident status in Canada. Now, the big question is how to apply for a permanent resident in Canada. Well, the fastest and most common way to do that is through Express Entry. So, what is Express Entry? Express Entry is a system that provides a pathway to permanent residence for skilled workers in Canada or overseas. Please take note, it is not a program but a system, so don't get confused. An Express Entry managed application for permanent residence under these programs like the Federal Skilled Worker Program, the Federal Skilled Trades Program, the Canadian Experience Class, and the Provincial Nominee Program. Each program has a minimum requirements to qualify, but I will not bore you with the details. But what I'm going to do is I will show you how the Express Entry works in 2 steps and why many aspiring migrants are stuck in this system and can't move forward to apply for their permanent resident in Canada. So let's go ahead to my computer and I will share you my screen.
Alright, so the fastest way to get your permanent resident status in Canada is through Express Entry. And this is how Express Entry works in 2 steps. The first step is to create and submit your profile online. And if you are qualified, you will be put inside the Express Entry pool. To proceed to step 2, you need to wait for the immigration to send you an invitation to apply. Once received, you can now apply for your permanent residence. It's simple, right? But here's the thing. To qualify for the Express Entry pool, you must meet the criteria of at least one of these federal economic immigration programs. And these programs are the Federal Skilled Worker Program, Federal Skilled Trades Program, Canadian Experience Class, and Provincial Nominee Program. Let's say you want to apply for Federal Skilled Worker Program, you must reach the minimum points of 67 over 100 to be accepted in the Express Entry pool. And your points will be computed based on these factors, such your age, education, work experience, your English test score, and adaptability. If you have a family in Canada or a job offer in Canada, that can be a plus points. True enough, many aspiring migrants reach 67 points and manage to enter the Express Entry pool. If you are one of them, then congratulations, you are accepted with minimum points. But here's the reality, guys. The minimum points of 67 does not guarantee you will receive an invitation to apply for your residency. This is where many aspiring migrants are stuck inside the Express Entry pool and waited for years to receive an invitation to apply, which will never happen. Why? Because Express Entry favors candidates with Canadian work experience, qualification gained in Canada, and language ability. Plus, there is another points based system you must go through, which is the Comprehensive Ranking System, or in short, CRS. CRS is used to assess your rank profile in the Express Entry pool. It will assess your skills, education, language ability, work experience, and other factors. So the rule here is that the higher your CRS score, the better chance and more likely you will receive an invitation to apply for permanent residence. Unfortunately, many agencies will charge you for a fee just to create an express entry profile without even educating and guiding you on how to increase your points. Then sadly, you'll end up wasting your time and money. That's why in this video, I will show you how to increase your CRS score by studying in Canada to receive your invitation to apply for permanent residence in Express Entry. So are you guys ready? Let's get on with it. Alright, so here's what you will learn in the next few minutes. Number one, I will share with you the four reasons why a student visa is the most popular way to obtain permanent resident status in Canada and how you can increase your CRS score. If you study in Canada, there is one big benefit that will unlock multiple ways of applying for your permanent resident status. What is the significant benefit? Well, later on, I will show you. Number two, you will learn the basic qualification needed to study in Canada. Is there an age limit? What is the health requirement? Is a high school graduate allowed? How about English tests? Should you take IELTS? Are your previous grades in college or high school needed? Is there an entrance exam? All of these questions will be answered in a few minutes. Number three, what program or course should you take and how long should you study? You will also know the start dates of schools in Canada. And number four, how much do you need to prepare for this? What are the investments involved? So there are two major investments, the tuition fee and the cost of living. You will learn the other minor investments as well. How much do you need to prepare if you're going solo student or if you will bring your partner and kids while studying? I will also discuss that in detail. And of course, I will share with you what you need to know if you don't have enough money or savings and what are the ways you can do to still fly to Canada even though you lack funds. But you might be wondering, does the study permanent resident really works? Is this video worth your time? Take a look at this very recent article from immigration.ca. According to Canada Immigration Minister Sean Fraser, the Canadian government is planning to give international students a route into permanent residency. Our message to international students and graduates is simple. We don't just want you to study here. We're hoping to create pathways that allow you to stay here and make a lasting contribution beyond your academic career. And he said this during an interview last March 31st, 2022. Imagine this message is straight from the minister himself. Hindi sila nagbibiro sa plano nila for all international students. Kaya nga I want to unveil the recent data from Canada Immigration showing that there's a massive approval of permanent residency application for those who studied in Canada. Take a look at this graph. This graph shows the Canadian permanent residency application approval rate from 2016 to 2021. What's interesting about this graph is from January to October 2021, 97.5% of international graduates who applied for permanent residency in Canada were successful. Again, that is 97.5%. That is nearly 130,000 former study permit holders were approved for permanent residency on that the same time period. Amazing, right? So this shows that former study permit holders are approved for permanent residence at an extremely high rate. They're more likely to be approved than other applicants who did not study in Canada. And they're being approved in greater and greater numbers. And it is part of the Canadian government's efforts to rapidly scale up immigration. Guys, Canada needs immigrants, and international students fit that need. And this is the reason why many are taking the study permit pathway, not only Filipinos. but other races as well. Data doesn't lie. These statistics came from IRCC website, the Canadian Immigration. Now let me introduce you to some of our clients processed by our immigration experts in RCICs, and they were able to get good results because of the study pathway. And I want you to meet the Esguerra family. In January 2020, they signed up with Secure Visa Services, and in year 2021, Chris flew to Canada to study. Before, he was an OFW from UAE, and he knows there is no way that they were able to obtain permanency or citizenship in UAE. He knows that there's a big chance he will have a permanent residency in Canada using the study pathway. And look at them. His family are now permanent residents and working out their Canadian citizenship. The family is now safe and secure with their future. Another one, our colleague here in Secure Visa, and her name is Anna. This is Anna, and she is our subject matter experts documentation analyst. And Anna did the study pathway and flew last 2021. She brought her husband and four kids while studying, and because she trusted the study pathway and took this opportunity, she is now enjoying her life in Canada with her family. And just recently, they consulted our RCICs and found out that the whole family are ready to apply for permanent resident status. And not only the Esguerra family or Anna took this opportunity, but also Sheila. Sheila is from the Philippines. She moved to Canada in 2018 via student visa. Then, after 3 years, Sheila and family are now permanent residents in Canada. Another result you can expect, and another Filipino who trusted the study pathway to permanent residency is Chantal. Chantal arrived in Canada in August 2018 via student visa and came 2021. They're now holding a permanent resident status. I mean, how amazing, right? Well, I'm not promising that this will happen to you. No, it's pure hard work. But does the study permanent resident work? Yes, it does. It happened to a lot of Filipinos and clients. And of course, you can also do that. But again, it's real hard work. Now, I want you to meet Earl. Earl worked in the Philippines in one of the top financial institutions. He arrived in Canada with his family February 2021 via student visa during pandemic, and they were assessed by an RCICs and confirmed that Earl is qualified to apply for permanent resident after finishing his studies, and having a Canadian qualification will greatly increase his points for the permanent residency application. This process to study to permanent, it really works. Listen, there is no better time to start your plan to move to Canada but today. Now is the perfect time. Why? Because the government of Canada raised their immigration target for 2022 and is looking to accept more than 1.3 million new permanent residents from 2022 to 2024. So now is really the perfect time to start your migration. But the question is, why should you listen to a single word I have to say? Well, because I was once a dreamer. I became an international student, an education expert running for over 5 years, and now a permanent resident in New Zealand. And because we are now permanent residents, we are experiencing all the benefits that New Zealand has to offer. For example, in healthcare, I gave birth in a C section for free. My daughter is a New Zealand citizen because we are New Zealand resident when I gave birth. My husband and I are very happy that my daughter's future is secured as she has many opportunities to experience in New Zealand. One of which is she will receive free quality education until age 18 and all other benefits. This will not be possible without me taking the study pathway as a stepping stone to apply for my permanent resident application. You know what? Before I decided to study in New Zealand, we first tried applying for residency in New Zealand. I was hoping we could get an invitation to apply. We assumed it was easy as we are both bachelor degree holders and we have enough work experiences. But sadly, We were rejected multiple times as we are not meeting the required points for residency. Maybe because we are not considered highly skilled professionals. I'm not an IT, I am not an engineer nor a nurse. I don't even have a managerial role experience. So I decided to look for a skilled work in New Zealand. I tried sending multiple job applications for a month. However, no employer was still giving me a chance until I discovered that employers in New Zealand usually look for applicants with valid working visas, residence visas, or citizens in New Zealand. We almost gave up. But the good thing is, I discovered that studying could be my stepping stone to applying for a resident visa. So I trusted the process. In February 2016, we flew to New Zealand. My entry was a student visa, and I took a 1 year program. And my husband's was a partner of a student work visa. That's my visa on top and my husband's visa below. Take a closer look on the red box. That's the start date of our visas. So after I completed my studies on March 2017, I was eligible to apply for a post-study work visa. Again, take a look on the start date on the red box, and because of this work visa, it opened me an opportunity to look for a skilled job. And because I have a valid work visa and the New Zealand qualification, finally I got the attention of all New Zealand employers that I applied. So I got a skilled job offer, and because of my skills and the job offer that I got, and of course my New Zealand qualification, my points for residency application hugely increased. So, come July 2017, we were able to submit our family residency visa application. And on December of 2017, we are officially resident visa holders of New Zealand. And because I took the study pathway, it gave us an opportunity to be permanent residents. So these are the photos of our resident visa stamp. Left photo is mine, and the right one is my husband's. Again, take a closer look at the start date on the red box. And these are the screenshots of our permanent residence visas. You know what? If I did not trust the process, the study, the permanent residency pathway, I am sure we are not here in the place where we are supposed to be. To be honest, the truth is, our journey wasn't smooth sailing. Determination and pure hard work are the primary keys to surpass all the challenges that came to us. But what shocked me the most were the stories of my fellow migrants and international students. Some of them received the wrong advice from their consultancy agencies. Many students took up wrong program and eventually went back home because the program had no pathway for residency. The worst is some students are struggling financially as they were advised not to bring enough evidence of funds and even arrange their accommodation in a shared room hostel. In short, I heard a lot of unpleasant experiences from international students. And from then on, I deeply understood the importance of supporting overseas students like me because I did not receive a full support system when I arrived. I knew something was lacking, and that's when I saw the opportunity to build a team that can help, support, and guide the future international students. We build Secure Visa because we know how hard it is to find the right consultancy company. We want our clients to avoid frustrations and pains, just like what I experienced for my previous agents. Back in year 2015, we hired a consultancy company that can help us in our migration plans, and their fee was 500,000 pesos. 500,000 pesos, but nothing happened. We only wasted our money, time, and energy. And that's why I'm very eager about helping you do this the right way. After all, that is our primary goal why we created Secure Visa Consultancy. Our team helps aspiring migrants study, work, and live in their ultimate destination, which may lead them to get their permanent resident status through the help of our immigration lawyer based in New Zealand and regulated Canadian immigration consultants or RCICs that are based in Canada. So here are our partner immigration experts and their identification number that you can verify in the IRCC website. Together with our education experts and our partner immigration lawyers and RCICs, we are very committed to every client's and our client's family futures, whatever their current situation may be. Our proven strategies, ways of working, and teamwork make our clients' dream a reality. With over 5,000 partner schools that we have in Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, plus we have a reliable team who are based in New Zealand, Canada, and Manila, having a team of subject matter experts who are all former international students, we know what it feels like to be in your shoes. All of us succeeded in these pathways, and we are confident that we can help you 100%. Yung pagdadaanan nyo ay napagdaanan na namin. We know what works and we can share with you the proven process. And because we know how to be a student and a migrant, we know what you need and what's best for you. That's why we are very passionate about solving your problems and correcting mistakes that might go along with the student visa processing and, of course, achieving your desired outcome. Now, let me show you our secure visa offices. Here's our office in Auckland, New Zealand. It's just 5 minutes away from Auckland International Airport. We also have an office in Metro Manila. It's just beside the Mall of Asia in Pasay City. And of course, we are working on finalizing our newest office in Canada. So watch out, guys. For transparency, here is our SEC registration and BI registration. You may take a screenshot for your peace of mind. And here are permits to operate the business. Now, let me make this clear. I don't say these things just to brag about our company. Sure, I'm very proud of our accomplishments and how we've been able to help people achieving their migration goals. However, the reason why I am showing you this is because I want you to see that we are not just anybody with no real experience. In the next few slides, I'm going to share with you some of our successful clients that engage with our proven process. Meet the Bantug family. We have Erwin, Kat, and their little boy, Irvin. They signed up with Secure Visa in March 2021. Initially, they planned to migrate to New Zealand due to pandemic and opted to take the opportunity in Canada. And they believe they make the most brilliant move because they now know that they can secure their life in Canada and they have a big chance of applying for a permanent residency in Canada. They got their approved visas last May 2022 and they're very excited with their new life in Canada. On July 2022, the whole family arrived in Canada. As you can see on the top right, there's Anna, our secure visa teammate based in Canada, to welcome them. Happy times, right? Not only the Bantug family believes in study pathway, just like Nicole and Hans, they are a couple who both took the opportunity and study in Canada. They are ready to live their dreams in Canada. Hans got his approved visa last July 2022 and his girlfriend Nicole last May 2022. Here's Fatima. Fatima is one of our satisfied clients who has arrived in Canada via student permit. Before moving to Canada, she was one of the associate of JP Morgan Chase. She know that this permit, the student permit, will give her 10 folds of opportunity. May 2022, she received her approved student permit. Another approved visa. Let's meet Carmela. Carmela is in her 40s. Age is just a number. She is a believer that you can achieve dreams at any stage in your life. Do you believe this, guys? She did this not only for herself, but also for her daughter's future. Wonderful, right? Another couple, Julian and Anne, they want to take advantage of the time that the Canada is open for migrants. That's why they did not hesitate to invest in the study pathway. They're both going to Canada with a student permit and work permit. Another awesome client, Claudette, she got her student permit approved. She was happy with our service. She even wrote a lovely feedback. She said that the only regret she had is that she should have met secure visa sooner. These are just some of the clients we help that are now living in their ultimate destination. And if you browse your official Facebook page, you will see hundreds of good feedbacks from our clients because we are really serious about giving our clients 100% care and satisfaction. To be honest, we have been receiving a lot of good feedback on a daily basis. And mauubos ang oras natin if I'm gonna share this with you. This is just to show you guys that we are serious in helping our clients and that we are legit and credible company. Now that you know my story and my company, let me focus now on the presentation. Let's discuss the four reasons why studying in Canada is the popular way to get a permanent resident status. A lot of Filipinos and even non Filipinos are studying in Canada because of the immigration opportunity. And there are a lot of benefits when you study. So, are you guys ready to know why a lot of aspiring migrants are willing to invest their time and money in this wonderful opportunity? Do you also want to know how to increase your CRS points to obtain PR in Express Entry? So let's start with the number one reason. Reason number one, studying in Canada is a popular migration pathway because after graduation, international students in Canada are allowed to apply for the Postgraduate Work Permit or PGWP, valid up to 3 years, meaning you can stay up to 3 years in Canada after you finish your school. And with the PGWP or Postgraduate Work Permit, you are free to decide which employer you want to work for. You can work full time, 40 hours per week or more, and you can work anywhere in Canada. Plus, you can gain Canadian work experience that will lead you to apply for the permanent residency programs. So, how can you get a PGWP? Just to be clear, you will not get a PGWP automatically. You still need to apply for this. And in order to get PGWP, the best rule is you must enroll in a Canadian Designated Learning Institutions or DLI, and then you must finish the program that you took. Please be aware that a lot of schools and programs in Canada are not in the list of designated learning institutions. So please be careful in choosing the right school and program. Next is how can you get a longer duration of postgraduate work permit of 3 years? Well, you just need to finish at least 2 year program or more to get a longer PGWP. So, how do graduates apply for permanent residency during their PGWP? Well, after graduation, with their PGWP, graduates search for a skilled work experience, and having a skilled job offer helps them qualify for the permanent residency programs through Canadian Experience class within Express Entry. So, to simplify, graduates with post graduation work permit who acquired skilled work experience may apply to Federal Skilled Worker Program, Federal Skilled Trades Program, Canadian Experience Class, Provincial Nominee, and many more programs. And this gives you a full picture that having a Canadian education credential and Canadian skilled work experience ensures that an express entry applicant will gain valuable points towards their comprehensive ranking system or CRS score. Remember, the higher the points, the higher the chance receiving the invitation to apply for PR while you are in the express entry pool. And what's nice about this? This gives you an edge, making you more competitive amongst other applicants who did not take the study pathway for gaining permanent resident status. Amazing, right? Not only that, you may also include your partner and dependents in your permanent resident application. Yup, your family can be a permanent resident as well. This is the reason why Canada is an attractive study destination. Thanks to Canada's welcoming immigration policies, as many students also see this as the first step to becoming permanent residents and eventually Canadian citizens. Reason number two, studying in Canada is a popular migration pathway because you are allowed to work and earn money while studying. You may work part time for 20 hours per week, and as a student, your main priority is to study and, of course, finish your program. Although 20 hours of work is not much of a revenue, but this can help you gain Canadian work experience, gain good references from your employers, which is super helpful when you apply for a full time work in the future, and get a higher chance to be absorbed by the company and eventually get a PR or permanent residency sponsorship from your employer or even receive a full time job offer after graduation. Wonderful, right? Now let's move on to reason number three. Reason number three why studying in Canada is popular migration pathway because as an international student in Canada, you may be able to bring your spouse, common law partner, either you are married or not married but living together for at least 1 year, or even same sex marriage or union is also acceptable. You may also bring your dependent children with you to Canada. This means that while you are studying in Canada, your spouse or partner and dependents are allowed of the following benefits. So, are you guys ready to hear this? So, your spouse and partner may be eligible for an open work permit. An open work permit does not require a labor market opinion and allows the holder to work in any occupation they wish. Meaning, while you are studying and working 20 hours per week, your spouse or partner may generate income enough to sustain your family expenses. He can even work 40 hours or more. Furthermore, because of Canada's welcoming immigration policies, your spouse may also be the principal applicant of your family residency application while you are studying. Meaning, when he or she hold a skilled job offer from a Canadian employer, he or she may be qualified for one of the express entry programs. This gives your family an advantage to obtain permanent residency in a short period of time, as you don't have to wait until you completed your studies. Now we're not done yet. Given that Immigration Canada's strong stance on family unification, your dependent children can also accompany you and they will be able to attend Canada's free world class public schools without the need for a student visa themselves. They can study from age 5 to 19 years old. Of course, your dependents are also allowed to be included in the family residency up to 24 years old. And not to mention, for those OFW viewers right now, I know how hard it is to be away from your loved ones, especially from your children. Study Pathway can give you a chance to be united with your children, be with them while you are building your future in Canada. After all, Canada is serious on family unification. This is the best investment for your family. Here are the two common questions when bringing your family. What is the visa duration of the partner and dependents? Well, another good thing about Canada family policy is that your dependent and partner are allowed to stay from the same length of time as the principal student permit holder. And what is the visa of the partner and dependents after the student completed the program? So once the student graduates, his or her family can also extend or apply of their current visas. Let's move on to reason number four why studying in Canada is popular migration pathway. It's because student permit is the fastest way to move to Canada. If the documents and your requirements are readily available, the processing and waiting time after the submission of the application will be around 6 months in total. Take note, this could be longer. It really depends on you on how ready your documents and funds are, but 6 months is really possible. Now, let's check if you are qualified to be an international student in Canada. Well, to be an international student in Canada, I will cover the frequently asked questions of applicants. So let us start. First one, is there an age limit in studying? A lot of you guys are always asking if there's an age limit. Well, the answer is no. But although there's no age limit to study, please be reminded that it is ideal to start as early as you can, especially if you have plans to stay in the future in Canada. Based on the Canada job market trends, there are more career opportunities for those who are below 55 years old, so it is better to start as early as now. If you are in your late 30s or early 40s or even late 40s and you have plans to study, please do it now. Time is valuable. If you plan to apply for a permanent residency in the future and you are in your early or late 40s, it's really perfect for you to pursue your study to PR pathway. If you are now in your late 30s or late 40s, don't worry of the points you lost from age. You may recover or gain points in other factors like Canadian work experience, finishing your qualification in Canada, and obtaining a job offer in Canada. Just like one of our clients, her name is Carmela. She is now in her 40s and she's worried about her age. Well, she doesn't have to worry about it because studying doesn't have an age limit, it's a state of mind. It's not the end of the world for you. If you are like in your 40s or even late 40s, permanent residency application consists of other point categories aside from age. So again, it's not the end of the world. Canada will not be called a reunification country for anything. Now let's move on and talk about your health. If you are applying for a student permit, you need to check your health status. It is important for the public health of Canadians to check all visitors and new migrants of their health status, especially now. Medical requirements is required as this helps to prevent the spread of diseases. Also, you must have a good character and no pending criminal case. One of the requirement for student permit is an NBI clearance. You should be able to get this with no issue. So let's talk about IELTS. Most of you wondered if you need to take this before submitting your visa application or even starting the student permit process. Just want to be clear that you do not need to take this ahead of time. And no, you don't necessarily need IELTS to study in Canada. But if you aim to apply for a permanent residency, IELTS will be necessarily required in the future. So meaning you may come to Canada without taking IELTS as many schools does not requires you to take this. But in the future when you are ready to apply for a Canada permanent residency, then that is the time to take IELTS. Please note that IELTS results are only valid for 2 years. Does grade matters in Canada? Well, not at all. Not all schools requires it. But if you are undergraduate or high school graduate, most likely the schools in Canada may require your grades. Same goes with entrance exam. They don't require this to be accepted in schools in Canada. But the question is, what degree is best for you? Usually, how long will you study? What are the usual start date of schools in Canada? Well, let us first discuss the school intake dates. Canadian colleges and universities offer three intakes. In some universities, intakes may also be referred to as a semester. The three intakes available in Canada are fall, winter, and summer. Fall season is a popular intake among students. The fall intake starts in the month of September and winter starts in January. This is best if you miss the September intake. Now, for some students who wants to start in summer, the available programs usually starts around April and May. Please note, since the demand for wanting to be an international student in Canada is currently high, school slots fill up so fast. So make sure that you secure and take action right away to obtain a letter of acceptance from the school. So, what degree is best for you to study? If you are a high school graduate or undergraduate or with vocational course, you are still allowed to study in Canada. You can get accepted, and your entry point would be general arts or science for 1 year or post secondary studies, leading to diploma courses. The duration of this is 1 year to 2 years, so you need a total of 2 to 3 years of study, a combination of post secondary studies and diploma course. Or you may also take a bachelor degree, a total of 3 years of study. Now, for those with certificate, diploma, or bachelor degree, you most likely entry would be a master or doctorate or postgrad diploma courses, and the duration of this is 1.5 years or 2 years. Choosing the right program from the start is crucial. If you mess this up, it could jeopardize your chances of getting your visa approved. Also, you might choose a program that doesn't have a PGWP after you finish it, in which, in the end, you will have a huge problem. Now, maybe some of you are no longer happy with your current career and you want to shift to a different industry. Well, please note that study permit application are sometimes refused if the visa officer doesn't understand the logic of your choice of program. Let's say someone with a bachelor in nursing from the Philippines and 4 years of experience working as a nurse who wants to study hotel management. Well, this could be questioned. Why? Because the chosen program in Canada doesn't seem to align very well with the applicant's educational background or employment. If the program you have chosen seems odd, given your past education or work experience, you need to clearly explain why you want to study in your personal statement and convince the immigration officer why you want to study your chosen program. This recommendation is also given to clients with unrelated courses to their current work experience, and you need to specifically explain what happened during the transition or changes and the reasons behind it. Be careful as you need to be consistent in your stories. This is a bit tricky. You need to be very good in convincing the immigration officer with your story. Just like our client, and her name is Pam, and she's one of our successful clients in the Philippines. Pam is from the industrial engineering industry, but she shifted into supply chain management. She knew that it was important to seek professional help as her shifting career can be tricky. We help her with how to present her application favorably, and we're very proud to say that we were able to get an approved student permit for her. Now, what if your degree in college is not related to your work experience, and what course should you study? A lot of our clients does have unrelated degree with their work experiences, so we suggest that you take a course which is related with your current work experiences. Again, you must explain and convince the immigration officer why you want to study that particular course. Now it's time for us to discuss the study permit financial requirements. There are two major investments you need to prepare in order to make this happen. Take note, I use the word investment because the money that you will spend will have a huge return to you in the future. So let's start. First investment is the school tuition fee, and your second investment is the evidence of funds, or others call it as a show money. For the tuition fee requirement, kindly note that fee payment methods differs from university to university and as per the course you opt to. Iba-ibang fees per program and level of your qualification. Depende yan sa budget nyo at sa mapipili nyong school. So in this case, I can't tell you the exact tuition fee, but I can share with you the fee range later on. Now let's move on to the evidence of funds. Canada requires you to show proof that you can support yourself while you study. You need to convince the immigration officer that you are capable to live comfortably in Canada while studying, most especially if you are bringing your family with you. There are other agencies that will tell you that this is just for show money and that you don't need to bring the money with you in Canada because you can work part time. Well, we don't recommend you doing that as you really need the funds to support your daily expenses while studying, especially if you're going solo. Yes, you may work part time while studying, but please be reminded that you are only allowed to work 20 hours per week. These working hours might not sustain the daily expenses, especially now with the current inflation going on. So, we highly suggest to be ready, and being prepared is a must. Having a direct access or bringing your evidence of funds is a very smart thing to do. This is the reason why we don't call it as a show money. So, how much do you need as evidence of funds? I'm showing you the standard minimum required evidence of funds, and this is based on the Canada Immigration website. The estimated foreign exchange rate I used is 1 Canadian dollar to 41 pesos. Please note, actual foreign exchange rate varies. So for student, you need at least 10,000 Canadian dollars or 410,000 pesos for 12 months or per year. Again, take note, this is only for 1 year, regardless if you will bring your family or not. Again, we highly recommend that you study for 2 years to acquire the 3 years duration of post graduation work permit. So, for 2 years of studies, you need to double the requirement to 20,000 Canadian dollars or 820,000 pesos. Now, if you're bringing your partner, the partner will need to present additional funds of 4,000 Canadian dollars per year or around 164,000 pesos. Double that again for 2 years of study. If you're planning to bring a dependent child while studying, for each dependent, regardless of the age, the required evidence of funds is at least 3,000 Canadian dollars or 123,000 pesos per year. Again, double that funds for 2 years of study. For the tuition fee, it varies depending on the location of schools and the type of program. So I can't tell you the exact amount of it because I don't know which school or which program you are going to enroll. But for 2 year program, it ranges for 20,000 Canadian dollars up to 37,000 Canadian dollars or around 820,000 pesos to 1.5 million pesos. So for better understanding, let's compute the estimated total funds you need to present to immigration. This is a combination of the tuition fee and the evidence of funds. Now please note that this computation is based on the lowest tuition fee of a 2 year program. Again, if you enroll in a 2 year program, this will give you a 3 years post graduation work permit. It will give you enough time to build your CRS score in Express Entry and eventually increase your chance to apply for a PR. A huge advantage compared to a 1 year program with 1 year post graduation work visa. Also, I want to remind everyone that the total funds that you see in your screen may change depending on your tuition fee. The higher the tuition fee, the higher the total funds that you need to present to Canada Immigration. Again, this computation is based on the lowest tuition fee, guys, for a 2 year program. So let's start with the solo student, meaning solo, walang kasama pagpunta sa Canada. The total estimated funds you need for 2 years of study in Canada is $40,000 or around 1.64 million pesos. Now, for student bringing a partner or a spouse, the evidence of funds for 2 years of stay na kailangan pakita ay nasa 28,000 Canadian dollars. If you will add the lowest tuition fee of $20,000, the total funds you need to present is around $48,000 or around 1.97 million pesos. Now, for student, bringing a partner and one dependent, the total funds you need to present to immigration is around $54,000 or around 2.21 million pesos. Kasama na dito ang tuition fee, evidence of funds ng student, partner, and one dependent. Again, the total funds may vary depending on the exact tuition fee. Let me say this. Let's say you have like 1 million pesos or 800,000 pesos. Just imagine it. Will you invest the 1 million or 2 million to reward your family? Well, studying in Canada is considered a rewarding investment for your future as you have access to premier education, migration opportunity, and globally recognized degree. This opportunity doesn't come very often for many, so make your choice wisely. All right, now you must be wondering paano? Paano kung hindi ko kaya yung 2 million? Meron lang akong 1 million pesos or 500,000 pesos or even less. Well, this is very common. And our answer is you may get a sponsorship. You may use one or two sponsors to help you with your application and or with your tuition fee. A sponsor can be a friend, family member, relative, or other third parties. Can sponsor you by writing a letter or presenting their bank accounts as their proof of funds. You may have multiple sponsors and you are allowed to present multiple bank accounts to help you complete the required amount needed for your application. Now, here are the things that you need to understand when using a sponsor. One, your sponsor are not required to be a resident of Canada. They can be residents of any country. Second, your sponsor can be your parents, family, and relatives as long as you have a proof of relationship. Third, your sponsor must willing to provide funds that is legit and verifiable. Number 4, sponsors are required to show bank statements and other verifiable documents. And fifth, the funds of the sponsor are not required to deposit in your account unless it's donated to you. Some might ask kung pwede bang mag-loan sa bangko. Well, according to our immigration experts, yes, as long as makakita nila na you are continuously paying and you are in good credit standing. Now, let me share with you the clients who apply their student permit application with sponsors. Meet Fatima. Fatima is one of the successful clients of Secure Visa. We were able to enroll her to SALT College, and her course is Business Management Postgraduate Certificate. This is a 2-year course. We guided her on her student visa application, and since her funds is not enough, she used her parents and brother as sponsors. With the help of Secure Visa and our immigration experts, of course, she was able to get a visa approval. Now let's meet Faye. Faye is a student at Fanshawe College taking up early childhood post secondary diploma with a 2-year duration. She submitted just enough funds to cover her tuition fee and evidence of funds. She is married with kids but she opted to leave first at mauna sa Canada because ang sabi niya, hindi niya kakayanin na mag-present ng evidence of funds para sa anak niya at asawa kaya pinili na lang niyang mauna at susunod na lang ang family niya after a year niyang mag-aral. Ganon din, she need a sponsor kahit mag-isa muna siyang pupunta ng Canada. Her parents donated funds for her, but Faye also have her own money so she used her own bank statement as well. This shows na kahit may sponsor ka, you have a chance to study in Canada. So what documents can you present to prove you have enough money for your evidence of funds and proof that you are capable to pay the remaining tuition fee balance? You may present bank certificates, bank statements if you are employed, Certificate of employment, and payslips are documents to be presented as your evidence of funds. You can also present stocks, and investment can be a supporting ties as well. Of course, you also need to prepare other fees aside from paying your tuition fee. You need to think, of course, your medical fee, biometrics fee, and immigration fee, and of course, acquiring NBI clearance. The total of this is around 20,000 pesos. Now, the question is, are you required to pay your tuition fee right away? Well, the answer is no. You are not required to pay the whole 2 years of study. You may only pay the first semester or the first academic year. But please note, upon submitting your study permit application, you must provide proof to the immigration that you are capable of paying the remaining balance of your tuition fees. You might wonder what will happen to the tuition fee that you already paid and what if your visa application got refused. If this happens, don't worry. The tuition fee payment you made will not go to waste. Why? Two things that you can do. First, if your school start date is near, you can inform the school to defer or move your start date to the next start date. From then, you can reapply your student permit application. Second, you may also choose to refund, but expect that the full payment will not return to you as some school deduct admin fees. But maybe you will ask, what if you get a refused visa application? Will this affect your reapplication? Well, you don't have to worry about this because you may reapply again. But I know how it feels na mabigo sa unang application. We have helped clients na nag-DIY at na-refuse sila the first time and decided to hire our team. Just like Vivian from Dubai, Vivian submitted her application on her own noong March 17, 2022. Unfortunately, she got a refusal message from the immigration. Then after a month, she called Secure Visa and hired our expertise. By May 31, 2022, she got the most rewarding news. Her student permit application is approved. So I am showing you this not to discourage you. This might happen to anyone, but on the positive note, receiving refusal is not the end of your goal to study, work, and eventually live in Canada. You may see declined or refused status as a way for you to correct the previous mistakes or yung kulang sa application mo. Just like Vivian. Vivian hired us, and after we thoroughly reviewed and correct her application, nakuha na rin ni Vivian ang approved visa niya. So here's a quick summary of what we have discussed. We talk about why student visa is the popular way to get a PR in Canada and how you can increase your CRS score in Express Entry to receive the invitation to apply. So I gave you four reasons. Reason number one, getting the 3 years post graduation work permit after studying is a huge advantage. Finishing your program in Canada plus getting a Canadian work experience and receiving a job offer from a Canadian employer will greatly increase your CRS score and eventually receive the invitation to apply for permanent residency. This is possible because of the PGWP. Reason number two, you can work part time, 20 hours per week while studying. This will give you an edge for having a Canadian work experience while studying that can lead you to have a full time job once you're graduated and got your PGWP. You also learned that a good reference from your previous Canadian employer is important to get accepted to another job. Reason number three, you learn that you may bring your partner while studying, even you are married or not married, but living together for at least 1 year. Plus, same sex partner is accepted. You also learn that sometimes your partner can apply a family permanent resident even if you're still studying. Plus, bringing your dependent children is also possible. And reason number four, you learned that student visa is the fastest way to move to Canada. We also talk about the basic qualification for studying in Canada. There's no age limit, but you learn that starting as early as now is an advantage. You also learn that by studying in Canada, this will recover the score that you lost in age because the higher your age, the less score you get in express entry. Many schools in Canada waive that English requirement. There's no entrance exam. Your previous grades usually don't require unless you are a high school graduate. You also learned what program or degree you should take. You learned that studying for 2 years will give you 3 years post graduation work permit and when is the start date of the school. And lastly, you learned that two major investment involved the evidence of funds, proof that you can support yourself while studying, and the tuition fee for a 2 year program. You also learned what are the documents needed to present for your evidence of funds, and of course, you learned that you can use a sponsor to support your financial requirements. Now you see and learn that studying in Canada is a huge advantage in getting your permanent residence. And you'll probably be thinking the investment involved is big. Well, yes, it's true. But I want you to listen, concentrate, and imagine this. Imagine living in a safe and clean environment where you can walk on the streets with peace of mind. Imagine that you are experiencing work life balance, that you are going to the office for work, traveling for only 20 minutes, and returning home for 20 minutes. Just imagine how much time you will have for yourself and for your family. Imagine living in one of the least corrupt countries in the world where you can feel the genuine care of the government by giving back what are the taxpayers deserve. You don't have to worry about providing free and quality education for your children aged 5 to 18. You don't have to worry about spending so much money if anyone from your family gets sick because public healthcare is free and accessible for the residents. Just imagine having this for the rest of your life. Can you imagine how much you will save from this? Not to mention the peace of mind that brings to your family. 100% support from the government for the taxpayers. Now, I want you to ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth investing in your studies to experience everything I've mentioned from the last slide? Because of all the money I invested in being an international student, and now I am experiencing all the benefits of being a permanent resident, I can say yes, it is all worth it. Now, if you also answered yes, then let me remind you again that this is the perfect time to be an international student in Canada. The Canada Immigration Minister, Sean Fraser, has spoken. The government doesn't want you to just study in Canada, but instead, they want you to stay in Canada permanently and contribute to the economy. And again, for your better understanding, here's how the study to permanent residency works. Let me show it to you again. First, be an international student and study for 2 years with a DLI school. After completing your studies, use your 3 years post graduation work permit to look for a skilled job. The PGWP can help a graduate student to qualify for Canadian permanent residence. That's how Canadian immigration made it simple for the students. But to be successful, you must first focus on getting your student permit application. So to do that, you got two options. Option one, you can choose to do it on your own if you have so much time and you love researching on how to get your student permit in Canada. You might be successful doing it on the first time, but also you might get stuck and confused along the process. You might even receive a visa refusal before you get successful. If you have plenty of time and willing to do a trial and error, then you can choose the hard way. Or the second option, you can choose to jump on the fast track. And if you choose the fast track, there are four things you need to succeed in getting your student permit application approved. Number one, you need to know the right course for your profile because choosing a wrong course will get your application refused or it might jeopardize your plan to be a permanent resident in the future. Number two, you need to know how to convince and explain to the immigration officer why you want to study in Canada by writing the best statement of purpose. Your statement of purpose will make or break your visa application. Number three, you need a team of experts that will guide you through this correctly. And number four, you must be engaged in a proven stress free process. The student visa application can be so complicated and time consuming, especially if you're doing it from scratch and you don't know what you're doing. So if you're confused and you don't know what to do and there's just too many information on the internet or you just don't have the time to process your student permit application on your own and you are afraid to make mistakes, then I'd like to invite you to book a completely free on what we call the Clarity video call with my team. There's a button below of this video. Just click it to book your free Clarity video call, and my team will be waiting to have a discussion with you. So here's what's to expect when you book a Clarity call with my team. First, we'll get to know you, your situation, and your migration goal. Believe it or not, this is not fit for everyone. Just so you know, about 40% of the people that we have spoken to, for whatever reason, they're just not good fit for this service. And the rest of 60% made it to our client list. And that's the reason why our clients are satisfied with the outcome of their visa application. So we have to figure it out where you at or if this is something really doable for you. The second is we'll help you identify where and why you are stuck in your situation. Third, we'll answer all your questions that stops you from moving forward to reach your goal. So regardless you'll get our service or not, I am sure you will leave the call with great clarity on this whole process. And number four, if it feels like a good fit and you would like to know more how to start working with Secure Visa, then we can discuss it with you on how our service can help you further. And if you are a good fit and you want a hassle free end to end service, we have a program called the Secure Student Solution. And it's an end to end service from educating and guiding you in choosing the right course and school for you. We will also be the one who will assist you in applying the school of your choice, from guiding you to create the best statement of purpose to applying for your study permit in Canada immigration. And of course, prepare you to fly to Canada to welcome you and help you settle in your new home. Also, we will provide guidance in your job hunting until the day we can confirm that you're ready to apply for your permanent residency. These are just one of the many services that we can offer with the Secure Student Solution. And we're very proud to say that we can provide all of this with the combination of our stress free, proven process. Your dream to migrate to Canada will be in reality with our proven process. So, our team will discuss our service in details during your Clarity video call. But again, if you are a good fit for the service, like I said, we need to know you first, your current situation, and your migration goals. Just like our successful clients who went through the Clarity call with us and availed our secure student solution. Here's Claudette holding her Canada student permit. Her bags are all ready and packed to fly to Canada. Here's Bandug family with their happy faces while holding their visas. Catherine got her approved student permit, an open work permit for her partner, and a dependent student permit. And that's Catherine, the picture on the right. This was taken in front of her school, Humber School in Canada. Here's Pam and Romel holding student permit and open work permit. Another clients who availed the secure student solution. Here are their visas. Visa of Emily and her family. Emily got her student permit, an open work permit for her spouse, and student permits for their two dependents. Here's Carmela holding her Canada student permit. Another client, Mark Estacio, arrived in Canada with his student permit. Here's a screenshot of Fatima approved Canada student permit. Our clients Hans and Nicole holding their approved student permit in Canada. Another couple, Julian and Anne, with a screenshots of their approved student permit and open work permit. And not only in Canada, here are some more proof that Secure Visa is the real deal and that we're very proud to say that we can deliver results for you. Here's Jesse and Alan just arrived in New Zealand with their student visa and open work visa. They also visited our New Zealand office. Another one, this is Gretel, arrived in New Zealand because of her student visa. This is Camille, she is a nurse, also arrived in New Zealand with her critical purpose visa. Another client, Julie, just arrived in New Zealand holding a student visa. And of course, Manilyn, who is a nurse. She arrived in New Zealand April 2022 with a critical purpose visa, and we are so happy that in just 3 months, she is now a New Zealand resident visa holder. And this is the screenshot of her New Zealand resident electronic visa. Amazing, right? Just like I said, we will be there with you until you are ready for your permanent residency, whether your chosen country is Canada or New Zealand. We can deliver this for you. Also, we got hundreds of good feedback from our satisfied clients, and we receive a lot of this on a daily basis. If you want to read some of them, you can browse this webpage below this video. Just click the button below the video and book your free clarity call. Normally, we charge our clients 5,000 pesos for this clarity call, but for limited time, you can book it for free. After you click the button, you will have to answer a very short pre qualifying form. That form is very important. That if you did not qualify for it, you won't be able to book your schedule. But if you pass that qualifying questions, then you will get to choose your schedule for your clarity call. So go ahead, click the button below, and my team can't wait to have a chat with you and help you achieve your goal to migrate to Canada. So thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you inside. Bye!